Hello there, my name is Niamh. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. I upload videos twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. Tuesdays are sit down videos like the one you are about to watch, and Fridays are vlogs where I just show you what my daily life is like. Today we're going to be talking all about books. So this year I want to read a lot more than I did last year, because the past, honestly, I think like since I started college, probably actually since my leaving cert, the amount of books I've read have just gone down. This year I said I want to get into reading a lot more, because I would have classed myself as a proper bookworm when I was growing up. Like proper bookworm. Loved reading books in like a day. Loved reading. My parents got me a Kindle for Christmas, which I'm really grateful for. I was actually going to get one myself, but they ended up getting it for me because I just wanted a really easy access on how to get books, and that wasn't going to take up so much space, because I don't have enough space in this house for the amount of books I would like to be reading. So it's really handy having a Kindle. I love it so much. What I'm thinking of doing this year is every month I want to discuss the books I read the previous month. So we're in February now, so here are all of the books I read in January. I'm just going to be telling you what I thought of them. Maybe you would like to read some of them as well, but yeah, I want to do this every month. Let me know if you think it's a good idea, if you're going to enjoy it. I kind of want to do it anyway, so but yeah, if you would like to continue seeing these videos, let me know. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. Okay, technically I read 5 books in January. I finished a 6th in January. So the first book that I have here, I started on like the 30th, the 31st of December, finish it in January. So, you know, I'm counting it as a January book. But anyway, the first one that I read was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I had seen this book a lot. I had never really heard anything about it. I just saw it kind of everywhere, saw people reading it, saw it in a lot of bookshops. When I was just looking for something, it came up on like when I was exploring on the Kindle or something, it came up and I was like, look, let's give it a go. So I downloaded the sample, and the sample was only 1 chapter. So I read that 1 chapter of sample and I was like, I gotta keep reading this. Straight away I was like, oh my god, I was like, I need to keep reading this, so I bought it. It is such a page turner, like oh my god, you can just keep going. It's about 5 students in detention. One of them has an allergic reaction, and it's just like, oh my god, what happened? Did someone do it on purpose? All this kind of stuff. Kind of like the young adult section. I still love those. I'm still a young adult, aren't I? I'm almost 24. I'm still a young adult. I love the whole young adult genre though, and this book was very good. Such an easy read. Like it was just very simple to just go through chapter by chapter. So I definitely recommend this. It was twisty, turny, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend. The next one that I read is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. So I actually love Richard Osman. I loved him on Pointless, and he has Richard Osman House of Games. He's a British TV presenter, TV host. So this is his first book, I want to say, The Thursday Murder Club. There is a second one coming out this year of this series. I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this one, and I always wanted to keep going, because I think from the start you can tell like stuff is gonna go down at some point, and there's always just like something underlying, if you get what I mean. There was a lot going on. There's a lot of characters. You really have to pay attention when you're reading. If you're too tired to read, don't read this book when you're tired. Like do it when you actually can really focus on it, because there's a lot going on and the end is kind of confusing. Like if you asked me to tell you it now, I'd probably struggle. Everything just kind of happens very quickly, and there's so many characters, and some characters like were only introduced very briefly, and the next thing they're like big at the end, and you're kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like, so there's a lot going on, but overall it was very good, and I really liked how it was written. Just the overall everything, how it was written, very good. Again, would highly recommend. The next book was actually the sequel to One of Us is Lying, and it is One of Us is Next by, again, Karen M. McManus. And I think I enjoyed it more than the first. The whole story was a slight bit better than the first one. Like it's within the same, obviously, story, but like this story was kind of better, if you get what I mean. Overall, I just thought it was a great story, and I didn't want it to end. And the way it ended, oh my god, I was like, it was, you know, it ended and I was like, no. I think, where's the next chapter? We can't be into the acknowledgements. I'm like, what? It was just amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if she can get a 3rd book out of this, because the way this one ended, I was like, but I like, meh. But like, you know, that was literally what it was like. Again, like One of Us Was Lying, very easy to read, a page turner. I think her books, just her style of writing, I think is it's just very easy, and you can just fly through the books, feel no doubt. So yeah, definitely recommend those two, One of Us Was Lying, and then if you read One of Us Was Lying, definitely read One of Us Was Next. So the fourth book I read was Homestretch by Graham Norton. So I read one of Graham's books before, Holding, and thought it was amazing. Loved his writing. Then I saw Homestretch was another one he'd written, and I was like, do you know what, let's give it a go. It was, I'm just gonna read what I wrote because it's a bit long. I said, very interesting. You can tell from the start that something's up, but then I nearly forgot about it, if you get what I mean. So you can tell, like, you're like, oh, this thing needs to be resolved, and then just the way the story goes, you kind of forget about that whole thing, and then you're like, oh my god, yeah. Like, it was just really great. Again, loved how I say this about nearly every book, I loved how it was written. One thing too I love about Graham Norton's books is that he was born in Ireland, and he grew up, I'm pretty sure he grew up in Ireland, in Cork, where I'm from. So like with his book, and with the last one I read of his as well, like you can just, I can really easily picture the sceneries and stuff. So that is one thing I personally like about it. I think if you're Irish, definitely give his books a go, because I really like them. But yeah, it was nothing like what I was expecting. I had no idea what I was expecting, but it wasn't that, if you get me. Yeah, very good. Would recommend to a friend. On to book number 5. Do I have a lot to say about this book? I actually have already briefly talked about this book in a vlog, because I actually finished it on a day that I was vlogging, and I was like, I need to talk about this. So it is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, I have no idea. Here are some of the words I would use to describe it. So I said, heartbreaking, heavy, sad, depressing, gripping, intriguing, and it always leaves you wanting more. This book was recommended to me by my friend Rhiannoch, and I really struggled to get into it. I don't want to say this without making myself sound a bit silly, but there's a lot of big words, and it's a very intellectually written book. I would say the sentences are very long, so if you are someone who kind of struggles with reading but you want to get into reading, I don't know what I recommend this for you, because it's a lot. Like, there's just a lot of words that I didn't really understand, and sentences, the way they were written was just like, whew. Also for this book, just want to put a trigger warning out for it. Trigger warning for self-harm, suicide, depression, and sexual assault. A big trigger warning, okay? Because if any of these things trigger you, I wouldn't read it. Had I known about a certain subject, I don't know what I have read it myself, because it was really tough to read. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. It's very heavy, very heavy. I don't think I will ever read something like it again. It was just something out of this world. Like, it made me feel so many different emotions all at once, and I cried so much. It's a lot. If you want to read this book, be prepared, okay? It's a lot. It is heavy, despite like all the trigger warnings and like what I've said, like to not read it if this blah blah blah. It was still good. I think I enjoyed it, but I also didn't, if you get what I mean. It's like over 700 pages. It took me a long time to read. I can't necessarily say I'd recommend it, but it was alright. Would never read it again, but it was okay. Fair play to the author, because she put in a lot of effort into it, you can tell. But yeah. And the last book I read was Firefly Lane by Kristen Hannah. This book actually was recommended to me by my boss, and I trust her. So I was like, do you know what? I was like, I think it's gonna be a good read. I said I'd give it a go. And it was. Look, it was a good read. It was an easy read. There wasn't too much depth to it. I read it after I read A Little Life, so it was a nice change. It was not as heavy. It was a lot lighter, but I think it very much shows true friendship, which was lovely to see. I think it just really shows like what best friends really are, if you get what I mean. It got very sad at the end. I wasn't expecting it. Up to then, like, there wasn't much that was making me kind of too emotional or too much in this kind of thing, and then something happened and I was like, oh no, and I was like, I'm going to cry a lot, and I did. Overall, it's actually going to be made into a Netflix show. I might give it a go. I'm not totally sure. It was just a nice read, you know, there wasn't too much to it, but just a nice, if you want something that's kind of chill and that you can just kind of read, pick up every now and again, like I think this would be this book for you. But yeah, no, it was good. Not much to it, like it wasn't as like I love something with a good twist and like something that really gets me like into it from the get-go, and this wasn't that, but it was still a lovely read. No, I did quite like it. That's all the January books. Let me know if you liked this kind of video, and if you have any book recommendations for me, let me know in the comments, DM me with them, whatever. My next book is actually, I'm looking at it, it's on the floor. My next book is going to be Silka's Journey. It's by Heather Morris, the lady who wrote The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I think it's a character in that book's her journey basically, so that is next on my reading list. I'm excited to start it. It's gonna be heavy again, but I just read a light book, so I'm like, it's fine. That is everything. I want to keep going with these, to be honest, every single month, because one, it kind of will push me to continue reading, because I really do want to read so much more this year. I love reading. It's also time away from your phone and screens, which is good. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let's discuss. If you've read A Little Life, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched the whole way through, you know it already. I love you. You're the greatest ever. If you are not subscribed, make sure you are, and I shall see you on Friday. I'll see you on Friday. See you on Friday with another vlog.